You thought delay meant denial, but you know what we say? Ha! We say we come right back. We might be short on time, but pow! Sensei Kwabin here. Moment with a master. Number 31. Hello, family. Hey, we're on the floor. We're here, and it's summertime. They say this day is the splitting point. 182 days on this side, 182 days on the other side. The splitting point for where we are in the year. That means we're carrying a balance. And today we're talking about carrying our water. This is Sensei Kwabin with your weekly dopamine hit. Moment with the master number 31. Shisa! We love it. We love this martial arts lifestyle. And you know what we find? There's nobody quite like you. There's nobody quite like you in the audience. There's nobody quite like you in your world. There's nobody quite like you in your family. There's nobody quite like you on your job. There's nobody quite like you in your community, in your neighborhood. There's nobody quite like you. The uniqueness of our individual DNA, the uniqueness of our biology sets us up for unique experiences. And with these unique experiences, we each have an opportunity to carry them in different ways. Let's carry our unique experiences in different ways. We have what some biologists call unduplicated complexity. Unduplicated complexity. Even with twins, there is some measures of unduplicated complexity. Uniqueness. We don't lose it. We don't lose it. Sometimes we don't pay it as much attention as we ought to. Right? So this moment with the master number 31, I'm dubbing it HIT training. Y'all have heard about it, right? High intensity interval training. Yes, well, not quite, because unless you got on your gi, and we're about to get into a few things, but I'm going to call this high intensity personal investment or high intensity personal involvement training, because that's exactly what we might pull out of this experience and this conversation that we're having. High intensity investment and involvement. You know, another notable thing happened on this day right here. In 1964, July 2nd, 1964, President Lyndon B Johnson signed what was then to become the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And you know, that act would become the basis or the grounding for all movements going forward. It became the standard for all things that springboarded from things that grew out of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Movement in terms of identity, movement in terms of equality, movement in terms of equal rights and representation, all of it in all areas of life. Healthcare, academics, economics, housing. And these right now are being undercut and undermined, aren't they? Don't we know about some big, beautiful things that's supposedly happening up there in Washington, D.C., and we don't know how big and beautiful they actually are? Today is the anniversary of that Civil Rights Act of 1964. But here we're talking about something a little bit different. Even in this age of, I think it's the age of Aquarius. Isn't Aquarius the water bearer? Isn't the Aquarian symbol the water bearer? And we're talking even today in this age of Aquarius about carrying our water in this age of Aquarius. You know, everybody is born with a cup. We each have a cup. And we can say in that cup, you know, there are dashes and there are amounts and there are different measures of what we call our burdens, right? And we're each called to carry our burdens. Everybody has a cup and all carry their cup. Right? The cup, we can say it equals the burdens that we bear. But you want to know something interesting? What's also in those cups? But sometimes we set it down. In those cups are measures of our gifts, talents, and abilities. Those could be burdens, right? So that's in there. There are measures of our shortcomings in those cups. There are measures of our deficits in those cups. There are measures of where we don't quite measure up in those cups. There are measures of our quirkiness in those cups. There are measures of our weirdness, our intellect, our charisma in those cups. There's everything in because they're burdens, right? And what we intend to do is we intend to carry those cups. We're talking about carrying our water. We intend to carry those cups. Our intent is developed in the measures of our mind that helps us drive through those things that are a challenge for us to carry the cup, right? It may be a lack of discipline. It may be a lack of confidence. It may be a lack of understanding. It may be a lack of knowledge, or it may be just a lack of energy, motivation to push forward. That's why I'm here. Sensei Quad Being, Moment with the Master number 31. Carrying the cup, right? We want to lean into those things that we have discovered are existing in our cup. We want to lean into them. We want to be aware of them. We want to have connection with them, whether they fall on whichever side of the measure or whichever side of the ledger. We can call it good. We can call it challenging. We can call it bad. We can call it difficult. We can call it golden greatness, or something that is less desirable about us. We carry it. In this moment with the Master, in terms of carrying our own water, it also invites us to lean in on those things that we say are our difficulties, to lean in on those things that we say are our deficits, to lean in on those things that we even say are our challenges to moving to higher levels of progress and even attaining what we would like to see in terms of our personal greatness. We intend to drive through those shortcomings, right? And remember, one element, one tactic, one tool that we say is we set intent. We determine to be intent regarding outcomes. We set visions and expectations, and we set the guidelines and the measures. We set the standard for where we're going to show up. Carrying our cup, right? We get lessons through the attempts that we have. Sometimes I liken it to climbing. Anyone climb? I liken it to climbing rocks or climbing a mountain. And in climbing, it's very important to be able to latch on to the crevice or the fold in the rock, right? And you're facing the rock straight on. And you got to hold on. You got to make sure you got sure footing. And we're climbing, and much in carrying our water is much like climbing a rock. We're face to face with our burdens and challenges and difficulty. We're facing the rock, and we're holding on oftentimes to what we need so that we don't slip and fall and lose position. We're standing on rock, but we're standing in places that we set ourselves, we set our feet in the place that's going to be best suited for our stability. We plant our feet in the place that's going to be best suited for us stepping up into maybe a new plane of recognition, carrying our own water. That's how we move through this life and carrying our burdens. And, the thing that helps us move through it is we seek even in our intent to become experts at being who we are. Being experts at being who we are. Yes, we can be experts in a discipline. Yes, we can be experts in an exercise, a sport, something that calls our physical, mental capacities into play for sure. But experts at being who we are takes a whole new element of awareness, takes a whole new element of practice, takes a whole new element of engagement, personal engagement. So we want to become climbers and overcomers in this exercise of personal awareness and engagement. I grew up at a time where there was a term in business, and I think it was used in personal applications as well. The term was called peak performance. Does that exist anymore? Do we angle ourselves and position ourselves to align, to be connected with our peak performance? Is peak performance even an invitation? Is it a call? Or Are we too caught up in the metaverse, the false reality that we get to develop and design through our interaction with today's technology? Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence? What does that say about our intelligence? Are we even valuing how we can retain the intellectual thought that carries us through our decisions and difficulties? Become an expert. Become an expert climber with your unique skills and abilities and talents that keep us in a place of true and authentic focus. True and authentic focus. Because we're losing it. We're losing a lot of the things that we valued over time. We're losing a lot of the value in creating things that matter. We're losing a lot of the production element in terms of things that are going to carry forward for us that will matter to those who come behind us. We're losing it. We're losing quality over quantity. How many videos do we look at a day? How many times do we digest content that is 7 seconds long, 10 seconds long? My God, if it's over a minute, almost forget about it. This video right here, who's going to stay? Who's going to remain in the focus and in the measure of the message? Who is willing? Who has the desire? Who has the patience? Who is invested? You got to be your own best promoter. Be honest, lean into the deficit. We're still carrying the cup. So as we climb that mountain, we recognize that along the way, we get source insight so that our measures, our growth, our advancement, it becomes informed, it becomes internally informed, and we start to generate the information that we need to move to that next stage and that next level. And that's how growth is fused for us in carrying the cup. That's how growth is put together. That's how growth is connected. And that's how it magnifies and expands. Right? So we want to make sure we're facing our own rock. Keep a firm grip on those cracks and crevices. Right? So that we can start our elevation. That we can start our own personal promotion, campaign of promotion. Right? We can latch on to new thoughts, new visions, new ideas, new ways, new openings, new possibilities. Where we make sure that we tune out the noise, focusing on higher levels of self-discovery, focusing on higher levels of self-discipline, self-awareness. We're still talking about carrying the cup. This is what gets us over those things that become pitfalls for so many who are not willing or really maybe not able yet to face ourselves, to place the mirror for ourselves so that we can get a proper vision of where we're at so that we can chart a path of progress to where we're going. Some of us might need remediation, chart the path of progress. Some might need redesign, chart the path of progress. Some might need rebuilding, chart the path of progress. Right? And ultimately, many of us need redemption, charting the path of progress. Right? So I want to leave you with 3 cautions, and then we're going to close out with the final message. Caution number 1, be careful to avoid the danger of indifference. Like, I'm not really concerned about my own progress. Wow. Really? I'm not concerned about my own advancement. Wow. Really? I'm not concerned about my own growth. Okay, is that what we're doing? Caution number 2, focusing on the gifts, talents, and abilities of others. Oh my God, this is a heavy one. This is a heavy one. I've heard it said that comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. Focusing on the gifts and talents. We have so much in our DNA, in our biology, in our cup, in our possibility, in our promise, in our reality, in our heart, in our mind, in our psyche, in our vision, and we're focused on the rock that's in front of us, remember? Now, if I'm climbing on the side of a mountain and I'm looking over at everybody else climbing, I'm not likely to hit the crevice. I'm not likely to get seated and set where I need to be to push forward, right? So no, That's caution number 2, focusing on the gift of others. Caution number 3, this is a biggie. Having ambivalence about where you're going. First one is not really caring enough to invest in yourself, right? Remember, high intensity personal involvement, high intensity personal investment. But number 3 is being ambivalent. Like, I don't know if I want to go this way, I want to go that way. Haven't really set and squared up with the direction, the path of progress. Haven't really set and squared and lined up with where you're going. So when this comes, I saw this information, I'm going this way. Oh, wait a minute. I saw this information, I'm going this way. Ambivalent. Unstable. Double-minded, maybe. I've heard it said, right? So we want to have confidence in what we have been called and what we are going to be grown to pursue. What we're going to be pushed to pursue, invited, motivated to pursue. We want to have confidence in the quality of our willingness to do something different. We want to have confidence in the quality of our willingness to do something different, to chart a path of progress, to take hold of our cup, to lean into our deficits and our difficulties and do something anew, right? Comparison is a thief of joy. Stay locked into that measure of your vision for yourself. We believe that confidence is at the heart of our promise. Yeah, we have confidence in our abilities and our natural talents, looks, all of it. But grievously, sometimes we get stuck there or we stay there without realizing that confidence is really in the heart, or it springboards more so from the heart of our promise. That's what's before us. That's what's in front of us. Want to say this in closing, family, that carrying our own water is an act of love. Being tuned in, dialed in, hooked up, connected with, binded with that which is in our cup, and carrying it consciously is an act of love to those around us, to those who engage with us, to those who connect with us. We want to say, nobody is quite like you. Harvest the reality of the promise that is set before you. Take intent with it. Be active with it. Engage with it. Embrace it. And share it with the world around you. This is Sensei Kwabin talking about carrying your own water. This has been your dopamine hit. High intensity investment training. High intensity involvement training. Sensei Kwabin with Moment with the Master number 31. Carrying your own water. Spread the love. Keep the joy. Pursue the passion. Keep your greatness. Always let the music of your greatness remain strong, and the magic of your greatness never lose its allure. And never let anyone plant seeds of doubt in your garden of greatness. This is Sensei Kwabin, and as you know, I'm up out of here. Shisa! Wuss!